I'm going to say right up front, I don't know if this person is a Trumper or if they are auth left. It's wild how often it's difficult to tell which. Republicans are trying to minimize the harm of the regime by being like, oh, it would be this way no matter what. And the auth left is the same way, saying, oh, Democrats and Republicans are functionally the same. Everything would be the same under Kamala Harris as it is under Donald Trump. But that's just like so embarrassingly, obviously wrong. It's complete bullshit. 350,000 people have died because Donald Trump and Elon Musk stopped USAID. Those people have starved to death. They have died because we took away their TB and AIDS medication, basic medical care, and access to clean water. Anybody who says that things would be the same with Kamala Harris in charge as Donald Trump, you lose all credibility. You are not a serious person. I don't know what kind of pretzel you have had to twist yourself in to believe that nonsense. I understand you're doing it because you want to justify the fact that you told other people not to vote for Kamala Harris and you didn't vote for her, thinking that she would probably win. And now you're realizing how terrible everything is and how you contributed to that in whatever tiny, tiny way, because those people are like 1% of the voters. But, you know, the folks with big accounts did a really good job of convincing an awful lot of people not to show up and vote. They said, you don't have to vote for Jill Stein, just don't vote for Kamala Harris. Especially like if you're in a blue state, don't worry about it. Don't vote. Don't vote for her. I mean, we do know that 15% of Joe Biden voters did not show up to vote for Kamala Harris, whether that's because they listened to these bullshit creators or because misogynoir, they didn't want to vote for a black woman. They didn't want to see a black woman in charge of this country. But we could just, the checklist would be pages and pages long of all of the ways that things are significantly different, worse for everybody because Donald Trump and the Republicans are in charge. We don't have to talk about healthcare wrecking the economy, people dying. And gosh, y'all, we don't even have to talk about millions of people losing their healthcare, the economy tanking, environmental and worker protections being repealed, hundreds of thousands of people starving to death, and ethnic cleansing against immigrants. We don't even have to get into that huge list of things. Let's just focus on one thing for this video, this claim. Because in this video where Sam left this comment, your data is not safe, period, doesn't matter who's in office. I was talking about Elon Musk and his band of Shitler youth violating the Privacy Act of 1974. I was talking about the fact that Pam Bondi and the DOJ want to illegally access state voter information that they do not have a legal right to look at. Republicans, aren't you the party of states' rights? Aren't you the party of don't tread on me? And yet Pam Bondi's federal government wants state voter registration data that they do not have a right to. That is private information. And in that video, I said, y'all understand that Kamala Harris wanted to expand privacy rights for Americans. She actually had a long history of trying to protect your private data. Yet Donald Trump is doing everything he possibly can to make your data accessible to private corporations, to have it leaked God knows where, to have the federal government have access to it, employees in the federal government who do not have clearance to have access to your private, financial, medical, personal voter data. The list goes on. And it's really interesting that you left this both sides are the same, it doesn't matter comment. When one side ran on increased privacy for Americans, protection for your data, and the other side was like, we're going to sell all of that. How can we do a big fat grift off of all of this? How can we access your private information to control you more? RFK Jr. is trying to thumb through everybody's medical record so he can decide what autistic people he can round up and send to work farms. Same for people with mental health struggles. The Department of Justice wants to access state voter information so they can undermine free and fair elections. And there is new reporting out about how Elon Musk and his band of Shitler youth at DOGE created dangerous live copies of Social Security data. There is a new whistleblower report out just yesterday. I put my glasses on to read this here. Acolytes of former White House advisor Elon Musk ignored privacy warnings and mishandled sensitive Social Security information, according to a new whistleblower complaint filed Tuesday. God bless the Huffington Post for saying it as it is. Officials from the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, because it's not a legitimate government department. Donald Trump doesn't have the right to just create and fund government departments like that. That is under the authority of Congress. But again, Republicans in Congress have just freely handed over all of their power to Donald Trump. I don't understand why they have chosen to essentially castrate themselves and just give Donald Trump all of their power that is outlined to them in the Constitution, but whatever. So according to this new whistleblower complaint, officials from DOGE potentially put hundreds of millions of America's sensitive information at risk by copying critical Social Security database information and uploading it to an insecure cloud server. Lest we forget, Elon's band of Shitler youth were a bunch of guys who desperately want to be him and who had parents who were like KGB members and finance guys. They were all ages 19 to 25. Young, idealistic, worshipped Elon Musk. They were completely, wholly unqualified. Neither Elon Musk nor these young men had the proper clearance nor training to be doing what they were doing in the federal government. And we just let it happen. Yeah, some Democrats came and knocked on the doors of these buildings and were like, please let us in. We didn't do anything to stop this. I know a lot of shit has happened, but we need to remember what has happened, and we must insist on justice in the years to come for what is happening right now, what has happened in 2025. I know that there's those creators who have their accountability archive, which is just their burn book of TikTok videos of Black women who said things that they didn't like. The real accountability archive needs to be a list of all of the crimes that Elon Musk and the fascists and Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, all their underlings are committing now. Where's the prep for the Nuremberg trials, y'all? I don't give a shit about what Black women said on TikTok when they were angry about the results of the election. I care about the crimes that are being committed by the fascist regime of Donald Trump, which is funding, supporting a genocide in Gaza. Remember, Donald Trump is the one who put on his socials AI-generated videos of Gaza being flattened and turned into a playground, a resort for the super rich. Remember, it is DOGE that gutted USAID that has resulted in 300,000 plus people already having died. You want to talk about Holocaust? 14 million people will be dead if we do not reverse what Elon Musk and Donald Trump have done to USAID. 14 million people. But your priority, the kind of justice and accountability that you're after, is a file of Black women TikTok creators who voted for Kamala Harris. And speaking of Kamala Harris, she was very concerned about our privacy rights and protecting our information. Had she been in office, we would have had expanded privacy rights for Americans. And instead, we're looking at 19-year-olds whose daddies worked for the KGB, uploading all of our private information to an unsecure cloud server. Because this is a kakistocracy, these guys don't know what they're doing. Think back to a year or two ago. Could you imagine in the United States of America, 19, 20-year-old guys with no qualifications, no security clearance, being allowed to access whatever the fuck they wanted from the federal government, being able to download it, put it up in the cloud in unsecure servers? This would have been the end of Biden's presidency. This would have been a national scandal of monumental proportions. And we've just forgotten and moved on. And we are hearing bullshit like this. Oh, your data was never going to be safe. In the initial reporting on this from the New York Times, the attorney for the whistleblower said, if bad actors gain access to this cloud environment, they can basically access the Social Security information for pretty much every American. The government could potentially be responsible for reissuing every American a new Social Security number. Could you imagine the headache? The tremendous cost. Oh, wait, wasn't Elon Musk supposed to be about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, even though DOGE has cost the American taxpayer tens of billions of dollars and saved us zero? According to Kathleen Romig, a Social Security expert with the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the Numident is a master file of everyone who has a Social Security number or everyone who's ever applied for a Social Security number. That's hundreds of millions of Americans. It includes your full name, any past names, your mother's maiden name, all of your parents' information, your Social Security number, date of birth, your birthplace, your citizenship status, your ethnicity, sex, and of course, if you died, your date of death. The Shitler youth uploaded that to an unsecure cloud. Remember, a judge issued a restraining order earlier this year, I think it was in March, preventing DOGE from accessing that information. But the uber conservative Supreme Court overruled that decision in June. deciding to grant DOGE full access to all of our data while the case worked through the courts. So stop fucking playing both sides are the same. Stop it.